Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we're taking a look at what I believe is the best deck for the WCQs, aka the World Championship qualifiers for Master Duel. Now, one thing of note, I do believe that SnowiKs Fire King is the best deck. However, I am testing Courtier in this video to see how good Volcanics or Fire King Courtier Volcanics is. Now, I've seen a lot of people play it, and I originally did my video without this card. So what does this card do? First and foremost, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can destroy one other fire monster in your hand or face-up field, and if you do, add a fire beast, beast warrior, or winged beast monster from your deck to your hand. Pretty decent. And then you can also modulate this card's level to the added monsters. So, notably, what this does is it allows you to go activate the effect, pop a card, any other fire card, in order to add Garunix. Garunix is then going to special summon itself, and then you can pop an additional card. Most notably, if you pop something like a, if you had popped a Kieran off of this guy, or like an Arvada or something like that, you can then special summon the other one, right? Pretty decent. You can also go like Garunix in order to pop a Ponix to get that back into rotation or something like that. But notably, this also then becomes an 8, and then with the Garunix and the Volcanics, you are then able to go into Hyong, and then if you Hyong, or if you make Garunix Eternity Hyong, what this card does is, if it's destroyed while it has material, you can special summon Fire King's monsters from the grave up to the number of materials this card had. So what you can do is then pair it with Fire King Island, you pop it, you get an additional search, and then you special summon two of your two guys back, and you basically didn't lose any of your material, which is pretty good, and then you're also able to get like a Ponix or something along those lines. So, it does a bunch of stuff like that. You can also, with Volcanics, search the Ponix, which can then just special summon itself for free. So there's a lot of things like that that are pretty useful, and so overall it's pretty good. The biggest problem, though, is that if you want to use the second effect, which is fairly decent, where if this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a Fire King High Avatar Garunix from deck and defense position, it does require you to play the break. And this card is, it's bad. During the next standby phase, after it was destroyed by card effect and sent to the graveyard, you special summon it and destroy all other monsters on the field. Now, notably, this is not an optional effect. You have to do this. So, yeah, you just nuke the field. Now, in pure Fire King, not that big of a deal. In Fire King SnowiKs, where you actually want your cards on the field, like, for example, a Flomberg or a SP Little Knight or whatever it may be that you actually want to have on your field, an Apollosa, this becomes a massive issue. So, yeah. Be careful of that. However, it does have another effect where if it's sent to the graveyard by battle, destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a Fire King monster from your deck, except itself, which is fairly decent, being able to special summon something like a Ponix or a Garunix, or the Sacred Fire King Garunix or something like that. Pretty cool. So that's it. That's basically all that this card is for. It's basically just another normal summon that kind of gets you into your combo as well. So that's more or less it for this deck. I'm playing 42. I didn't really feel like I wanted to cut anything, and I haven't really had any issues with consistency. So there's that. Yeah, lots of hand traps. Well, a fair amount of hand traps, as much as we can kind of play. And then a lot of engine as well. And yeah, it's pretty good. As for the extra deck, it's pretty similar. But yeah, I'm playing Hyong instead of Access Code. But it's pretty much the exact same as my previous video on this deck. But yeah, let's just quickly hop into the replays and show you how this deck performed. Alright, so here we are going first, and, well, this is a very interesting hand. Let's see what we can do with it. So we're going to start off here with Fire King Sanctuary. We're going to activate it in order to grab up the island, and then pop the Garunix in order to grab Ponix. I activate the effect of the Ponix because I'm like, you don't have Maxi, it's fine. And we just grab Skyburn and set 4 and pass. Now, here's the thing. I couldn't have done anything else there. That was... I could have technically added, like, a different Fire King card, but they wouldn't have done anything. So, yep, this was my best play. Legitimately. Volcanics literally doesn't do anything here. My opponent is playing Tierlaments, so they go for the Heartbeat, and they hit the Imperm, which is kind of funny. So we have Called by Crossout and Skyburn, which the Skyburn is probably the most important thing that I wanted, so the fact that they didn't get rid of it is pretty nice. They also didn't shuffle away the Fire King Island, because they actually know But guess what? This has to go to the grave or banish. It doesn't work if it's shuffled away. It's not just if it leaves the field, which I think a lot of people do actually believe is what this card does. Anyway, my opponent is going to normal summon Sheeran with Scream. And I'm like, oh, okay, so I need to interact with that because I don't want you to mill. You can have your SnowiKs, that's fine, but you are not allowed to mill cards. Yeah, we'll just do this. Now, I could have allowed them to mill, but knowing tier players, they would have hit, and it would have been incredible. They would have hit like Snow and a Shuffler and Havness, and they would have just popped off and then killed me. So yeah, I'm not going to allow that to happen. Anyway, out comes Garunix. They are going to grab to their hand the SnowiKs, and then they are, we're going to trigger the Garunix, and here is where the Volcanics is pretty useful. We just get to pop the Volcanics in order to go into the Garunix. Now, it doesn't matter because they have super polymerization, but, hey, that was a pretty good play. And do you want to know why? If they had gone into anything, we could have gone Fire King Sanctuary into the Exi. Yes, Fire King Sanctuary has a second effect where is it? Once per turn, no. Once per turn, if your opponent special summons a monster, you can immediately Exi a Fire Exi monster, Exi summon a Fire Exi monster, using only Fire King monsters you control, which is pretty cool, because you can make Hyung, and then Hyung on summon nukes the field, which is pretty cool. But alas, super polymerization. So they're going to draw a card and then banish my actual good Garunix, which is kind of tragic, I'm not going to lie. That is sad. Anyway, they just set the SnowiKs, no shot at anything else, and just pass the turn. I'm like, cool. We grab the Kieran here. We draw the Kieran. And we don't really have much that we can do, so I'm just going to go for the effect here in order to grab up the Arvada. We're going to then activate the Kieran effect, and we're going to special summon out the Volcanics. Volcanics is then going to activate, and we're going to pop the Ponix here to grab up the Kieran. And then I'm going to normal summon the Arvada, and we're going to go to battle. So, yeah. Proceed to battle, deal as much damage as I can. It's pretty good. Like, we have the Arvada to negate something, and we have Kieran to dodge the SnowiKs for the negate, which is pretty good. We have Ponix to add itself back, which isn't doing anything. And they have Sheeran, and again, we kind of have to negate this. If they hit, it's going to be terrible. Now, I know they already have a Sheeran in their grave, so they're less likely to hit something that is going to, like, get them anything, but the fact that they have another monster in hand, it just, I'm scared. Because it wasn't, like, Ash. So, yeah, I go for the negate here, we pop the Ponix. I keep the Kieran just in case. And, yeah, they are stupid. They do activate the SnowiKs in the main phase, so that I can dodge. Because, look, sometimes you don't know how other cards work. But anyway, out comes the second Kieran, and my opponent just conceded at that point. To be fair, there wasn't anything that they could have done. The game was over. Like, what are they to do? They already used their normal summon on Sheeran twice. So, yeah, good game. Alright, so here we are once again going first with some cards. That's for certain. We're going to start off here with the Fire King Sanctuary. We're going to activate the effect of the Fire King Island. We're going to pop Poplar, and we're going to grab the Garunix. Now, I make a mistake. I should not have activated the Poplar here. I thought I was activating the Garunix. That's my bad. Because now I can't go normal summon Oak, special summon back the Poplar, and then Poplar search out a card. So, oopsie poopsie, my bad. Meant to just activate the Garunix here. Anyway. Also, the fact that these activate in separate chains is very strange. It's not technically separate chains, but anyway, not that big of a deal. We do have the ability to still do something here, because we can still just pop the Ponix here and then special summon it with Oak. So at the very least, we do get something off of this. So we grab the Skyburn, and then we're just going to send away the Poplar with the Oak in order to go into Ash, and we're going to go for the Ash here, to which my opponent will Gamma, which kind of sucks. Yep, yeah. Nothing I could have done about that. They just decided to Gamma there, of all places. I don't know why we wouldn't have Gammaed the Garunix. I feel like that was much better of a play. But hey, look, it's Sword Soul. Whoa! Sword Soul? This deck's good, right? No. They reveal Emergence, and I'm like, sure, yeah, that's just not gonna happen. So we negate that pretty obviously. It seems like the best negate. You could wait for the Chi-Xiao. Waiting for Chi-Xiao is a terrible idea, though. And out comes Long One. And, of course, they fetch the second out Hara, and they still have the Emergence in hand. And I'm like, oh, interesting. Now, I have 2 options here. I can either pop the token to cut them off of synchros, right? Or I could pop the... Or I could pop the 2 leveled monsters and also cut them off of synchros. Now, here's the thing. They still have Adhara. We know they have the Emergence in hand. So I have to pop the leveled monsters here, because what they can do is they can go Emergence, search Taya, link off with this guy and any of their, like, if I get rid of the token, they link off with any of their other guys into Shaman, pitch Taya to bring back Taya, to then Taya, banish, and do the Chi-Xiao line. And now they have a much better board. So, we're going to keep the token on their field, and we're just going to get rid of the other leveled monsters, nuking my entire field. Now, it also would have been nice had I only popped 1, because if I just pop the Garunix and then they walk over, the Garunix would come back, and then we would get an additional pop, and we'd get a whole bunch of things there. But alas, we can't do that, so because of that, again, we're going to have to pop 2. Now, it's not that big of a deal, because I do end up drawing Wanted. However, the Wanted didn't actually matter. Because the thing is, during the standby phase, guess who's coming back? That's right, it's Ponix. Let's go! Alright, and here we are going second with a pretty good going second hand, to be fair. But my opponent is on... Horus. That's right, baby, it's Horus. Ignore the fact that this is Blue Eyes White Dragon, and Blue Eyes White Dragon, and Blue Eyes White Dragon, and that you will eventually see a Blue Eyes White Dragon get discarded. That is not real. This is not a real... It's not Blue Eyes White Dragon. It's Horus. So, yeah, there you go. Which means that Effect Failure and Imperm are pretty bad here. But they do dump the Jet Dragon, sure. Which will come up, and it will be a problem. So my opponent just passes here on this, which is kind of strange. And of course, we draw the Flomberg. Why would we not have? Anyway, I'm going to go for the Imperm here onto the Dua, because I do not want them to draw cards, which is not very good. Draw cards equal to the number of other monsters. So they do reveal that they have True Light, which is a little annoying, and I'm gonna do my best here. We're gonna go for the Skyburn. We're gonna activate the effect of our Fire King Island. We're going to grab up the Garunix. We're gonna go for the Garunix effect here, to which my opponent will go, hey, Jet Dragon, because Jet Dragon is a just insane card. Jet Dragon, if this were in like any other archetype, it'd be absolutely busted, and would probably be banned. But alas, we go for the Volcanics here. We go for the whatchamacallit into our Hyung, the Garunix Eternity, and I'm going to attempt to nuke the field. Now, I make the mistake of chaining here with the Fire King Skyburn, because Jet Dragon protects all other cards. So what I had thought to do that I didn't actually do, because I got confused. What I had thought to do was, okay, I'm going to pop Jet Dragon. They're going to send a card away with Imseti, and then I'm going to go with Hyung to pop the King Sark, and then reborn some guys. Now, this actually ends up working in my favor a little bit, and you'll see why in a second. But I end up going for the Skyburn to try and pop King Sark, and it's not going to be popped, because Jet Dragon is a cool, balanced card. Woo. Anyway, Imseti is going to send away my Fire King Island, because it's the only card available, and we're going to reborn some guys. Now, notably, this actually works out better for me. So we're going to reborn some guys, and most notably, we get the Volcanics here, which allows us to pop the Flomberg and add to our hand the Kirin. And again, because our Ponix is getting destroyed by card effect, we can just kind of end the turn, pass the turn, and the Ponix is going to add back to our hand. My opponent's going to go for the True Light here. And I know that this is Blue Eyes, and I'm like showing a replay where I beat Blue Eyes, but just stick with me, okay? Because it's very, very funny. So my opponent attempts to go to the battle phase. Smart, to be fair. Like, they have lethal. But notably, we get to go for the Valor here to negate the Dua, and then we also get to go for Kirin. So we're going to go for the Garunix here. We're going to activate its effect in order to special summon itself, and then pop a card, and we pop the Kieran. Kieran is then going to activate its effect in order to bring back the High Avatar Garunix, and then pop the King Sark. Now, the reason I pop the King Sark, as opposed to something like True Light, if you pop True Light, they can just bring back the Jet Dragon and then protect the field anyway. But also, importantly, the Horus cards are going to stick around. So I kind of need to deal with the King Sark and just kind of go from there. I also have Nibiru, so I'm kind of hoping that they play into that a little bit. So that's kind of my other thought. Anyway, so out comes the Jet Dragon, Coolio, whoop-de-doo. And we're going to activate the effect, or they're going to activate the effect. Sending away Kieran, which is a choice. And then they make Garunix Eternity Hyung of the Fire King. Which is a choice. Because here's the thing, it nukes the field because they didn't keep Jet Dragon. Now, to be fair, it only is by opponent's card effect, but, like, that's still weird, right? Now, if you didn't know, Skyburn has a secondary effect where if a Fire King card you control would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish this card from your grave instead. So they end up just nuking their field, and nothing happens to me. Anyway, they summon 2 more times, and that is 5 for Nibiru. Coolio. Now, they've already used their True Light, and they've already summoned off of the, they've already summoned both of the Horus monsters, so there you go. We put this in the Anima Zone to just yoink it, and at this point, I have Lethal. I have Lethal through Jet Dragon, mind you, through this giant Nib token, and I'm going to show you how, because this is genuinely what makes Fire King, and more specifically, Snake Eyes, and other such builds with fire, so insane. So here's the thing. I have 2 monsters on my side of the field. All I need is 4. I need 4 potential link material at any point to make this work. So we're gonna go for the Dark Charmer in order to steal their Imseti, to then go for Promethean Princess. Promethean Princess is going to activate its effect in order to grab the Garunix. Now, notably, I could have done pretty much the exact same thing without stealing with the Nibiru and Anima, and instead have just gone straight into normal summon, go straight into Hita. Hita steal their Hyung. So there's that. I could have also done that. Anyway, out comes Kieran. Kieran is going to special summon a guy and then pop their True Light. True Light is going to get destroyed, and then that's going to destroy their... I don't know why they decided to not chain here. They could have had actual, like, better protection here. Because the way that True Light works is it's a mandatory effect. So they could have gone mandatory effect of True Light, optional effect of Jet Dragon special summon, and then your Blue Eyes doesn't blow up because... Oh, no, it would be destroyed because it's opponent's card effects. Never mind, forget I said anything. Doesn't matter. They did it correctly. I forget this card actually is remotely fair. Anyway, sorry, I skipped a step. Using the 2 monsters that we... Or the monster we just got back off of Garunix. Or, not off of Garunix, off of Kieran. We use Promethean Princess and the Garunix in order to go into Raging Phoenix, and then, as long as we have another fire monster on our field, we can go Zelantis with our rank 4, which then allows us to use Zelantis effect. Now, if you don't know what Zelantis says, it says, during the main phase, banish all monsters on the field, and then special summon them to the field. Sorry, special summon as many as possible that were banished by this effect to their owner's field face up or in face down defense position. Now, notably, you can put them in face down defense position, which means we can just put the Jet Dragon face down and then pop it, which is great. Now, granted, it doesn't have protection for itself, so it doesn't really matter, but we can just put it face down, which is pretty cool. Anyway, out comes Zelantis, and then out comes the Garunix. Now, Garunix is on the field here, which means when a card was special summoned, we then had a fire on the field, which can then proc the Promethean Princess, which then also triggers the Raging Phoenix to special summon itself as well. And now we have the Raging Phoenix, which is huge, because it gains the attack of the monster that was destroyed. And we have Zelantis' Battlefield effect, or Battle Phase effect, which destroys cards up to the number of co-linked monsters on the field during the battle phase. And then we just attack for lethal. Pretty cool. That was off of 2 monsters. Hooray. That's Cybers, baby. Alright, we're back with the deck, and honestly that last duel was basically just in there to show you the Zelantis OTK, because I think it's very cool. So, we're back with the deck, and honestly, I don't like Volcanics. I know I showed you like how it can be used and what makes it useful, but my biggest issue is that more often than not, I just ended up drawing more of my bricks, and this card kind of just was okay. It's very high roll in my eyes, where either you are able to normal summon it and do the full combo, where you do the whole like Hyong and you're able to get 3 level 8s onto your field with the Garunics, because you like, I don't know, you pop an Volcanics in your hand or something along those lines, or whatever it may be. You get a Kieran onto your field through Arvada, or however, right? However it ends up happening, you get 3 of them, and then you pop it with the Fire King Island, and then you're able to get a whole bunch more guys onto your field. Right? Very high roll. Very unlikely. Right? So for the most part, it's not great. I don't dislike Hyong. I think it's a pretty good card, and in Fire King Snake Eye, I think it's a decent inclusion just to give you access to additional cards. But for the most part, I feel like it's just better off not playing it. Or more specifically, not playing Volcanics. Mostly because, at least for me, I brick more than not playing additional just dead cards. That's basically it. Now, I am playing 42 to lessen the amount of times that I see this card, but I always saw one of these two. I don't think I drew a hand that didn't, you know, either going second draw into them or just inherently have them. Right? Maybe I did like once or twice, but it was rare. So for the most part, I feel like it's just not really worth it all that much. And the advantage that you get off of playing Volcanics can literally just be the exact same as just playing like Ponix or playing Birch or something like that. Like, they more or less do the exact same thing, where it's just adding additional extenders, additional summons, and stuff like that. Now, notably, this allows you to play 6 normals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And having 6 normals is pretty good. But even then, I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. It's still good. I don't knock you for playing it, but it's definitely not something that I will be continuing to play. I just felt more inconsistent with it. But that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, I like it very much, so appreciate it. And remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.